In December 2004, an official spokesperson for Dow Chemical appeared on BBC World. The company was publicly taking responsibility for the Bhopal disaster, $12 billion in compensation for the victims.
Now, when we acquired Union Carbide 3 years ago, we knew what we were getting, and it's worth $12 billion. $12 billion. We have resolved to liquidate Union Carbide, this nightmare for the world and this headache for Dow, and use the $12 billion to provide more than $500 per victim, which is all that they've seen.
The news spread within minutes. Dow's share price dropped $2 billion. But there was no Dow spokesperson in that studio. In 2014, artist Amalia Ullman started posting on Instagram. A young woman moves to Los Angeles. Mistakes, surgery, a breakdown, recovery. 90,000 followers watched as if it were real life. But it wasn't. And in 2009, Turkish artist Kutlug Ataman released a documentary about a Turkish minaret launched into space in the 1950s. Grainy footage and expert commentary, everything so it seems real, but it's not. 3 stories, 3 deceptions, and all of them worked. And today, we want to understand why. The Yes Men are Andy Bichelbaum and Mike Bonanno. Their real names are Jacques Servin and Igor Vamos. Servin was fired from the makers of The Sim after secretly coding their helicopter game to populate cities with men in Speedos kissing each other. 50,000 copies had already shipped. Vamos bought 120 talking Barbie and G.I. Joe dolls, switched their voice boxes, and quietly returned them to store shelves. G.I. Joe now said,
"Wanna go shopping? Do you wanna sleep over tonight?"
Barbie said,
"Come home, look out for Distro at the perimeter. Cobra attack."
Together, they call what they do identity correction.
We've turned against our creators because they use us to brainwash kids. They build us in a way that perpetuates gender-based stereotypes. Those stereotypes have a negative effect on children's development.
Since the late 1990s, they built fake corporate websites that looked exactly like the originals. After that, they were invited to a lot of conferences. The Yes Men accepted, put on suits, and said what corporate representatives never say in public.
Are you here representing the U.S. Chamber of Commerce?
Yes, I am.
This guy is a fraud. He's lying.
On December 3, 1984, over 500,000 people near the Union Carbide pesticide plant in Bhopal, India, were exposed to toxic methyl isocyanate gas, the worst industrial accident in history. Between 1,000 and 20,000 people died. Some 500,000 survivors suffered respiratory problems, blindness, and other health problems. In 2004, the Yes Men appeared on the BBC pretending Dow Chemical's officials and promised compensation to the victims.
It's 20 years since the disaster, and today I'm very happy to announce that for the first time, Dow is accepting full responsibility for the Bhopal catastrophe.
Why did everyone believe them? BBC is one of the most trusted broadcasters in the world. That trust is exactly what the Yes Men borrowed. Instagram in 2014 was not yet a professional platform. It felt personal, intimate, real. Amalia Ullman studied that feeling and reproduced it with the precision of a researcher. Her Instagram media performance in 2014 made her the first artist working in social media to land in places like Tate Modern. Ullman also makes what some critics called post-internet cinema. Her films show how the internet reshaped the way their characters perceive reality. Her debut feature El Planeta premiered at Sundance in 2021. Her second, Magic Farm, at Sundance and the Berlinale in 2025. 90,000 followers liked, commented, shared. They were part of what made the story convincing. The audience became a part of the media performance. And 4 months later, Ullman announced, it was all a performance. Excellences and perfections.
I think there's always been a misunderstanding about my work because of the intersection of art and technology.
Yeah.
I don't have Instagram on my phone, so.
In his journey to the moon, Ataman used the visual language that already existed, the grammar of the post-war documentary. grainy, authoritative, unquestionable. Born in Istanbul in 1961. As a young man, he filmed the 1980 military coup, and for that, the new regime jailed him for 28 days. He left for California, studied film, and came back 15 years later. His art career launched when he pointed a handheld camera at the opera diva Semiha Berksoy and let it run for 8 hours. The curator of the Istanbul Biennial saw it, and the rest followed fast. Venice, Documenta, the Carnegie Prize, a Turner shortlist. He is direct about this. If you tell the audience up front that it's a mockumentary, the tension disappears. All the power is in the moment of not knowing. What all the mentioned artists did has a name: impersonation. The channel was real. Only the sender was wrong. In Shingo Yamano's remarkable film, all of this is laid out with striking clarity. As he himself explains,
水の中の海の中の深いところで流動している水といいますか、海って言いますよね。そういうものの組み合わせ。でもう一つはね、ムーンというのが。
The three cases so far used existing media infrastructure. But some artists go further. They build their own media channel from scratch, over years, using the most personal material available. Joseph Beuys claimed that in 1943 his plane was shot down over Crimea. Crimean Tartars found him, wrapped him in felt and fat, and saved his life. Joseph Beuys is a German performance artist and theorist. His one line, "Every living being is an artist," became one of the most quoted ideas in post-war art, credited by some with setting art free. In 1965, he smeared his face with honey and gold leaf and walked a gallery explaining the paintings to a dead hare. In 1974, he locked himself in a room with a live coyote for 3 days. In 1972, the Düsseldorf Art Academy fired him for enrolling 142 students who had flunked the entrance exam. The imagined narrative of Beuys's miraculous rescue by Crimean Tatars became the foundation of his artistic practice for decades. The archives told a different story, but the narrative worked as truth for audiences, critics, and institutions, because it was convincing, because it fit who he wanted to be. Antonio Guiotto takes Beuys' footage and reassembles exactly that invented myth. A mockumentary about this imaginary live story. Italian artist, born in Padua in 1978, trained in sculpture at the Academy of Fine Arts in Venice. He took his guiding principle not from art theory, but from the TV series Dawson's Creek. In his own words, "I think, just look at the art. I would do art that looks like other art." He titled his solo show about the misery and dead ends of the artist's profession, The Last of the Assholes. He works across video, photography, performance, and installation, frequently all of them inside a single project. In his film Beastie Boys Kunst Sabotage, Antonio Guiotto uses the image of Beuys to show how a legend gets built. The medium of trust here is a biography itself.
Cause what you see you might not get, and we can bet, so don't you get some just skimming on a thing that's art. I'm trying to tell you now, Sabotage.
In Second Son by Nikola Ivanov, a documentary camera films events that have not yet happened. Czech intermedia artist who came up through photography and now works mainly in video and text. For 5 years, he has been researching a single subject: sleep, and who gets to control it. The research became a book, Rest in Restless Time, an anthology on the biopolitics of sleep. His doctoral work moved on to the next frontier, the colonization of the night, light as the engine of modern life and the slow disappearance of darkness. In Second Son, a satellite with a giant mirror has been launched into orbit above Košice, and the city never gets dark again. The premise isn't invented from scratch. In February 1993, Russia actually deployed a 65-foot reflector from the Mir space station that directed a beam of light 2 to 3 times brighter than the moon across the Atlantic, over Europe, and into Russia. The idea was to use sunlight, and the project was called Znamya. Second Son picks up where the engineers left off.
To, že sa bojím noci, som zistil, keď som bol na návštevu svojho brata v Bratislave. Vracali sme sa k nemu domov po pár pivách a už bola tma. Rozprával som o druhom slnku v Košiciach, no zrazu mi začalo byť nepríjemne a musel som ho chytiť za ruku. Uvedomil som si, že tam nie je žiadne slnko a to ma vydesilo. Odtedy som nikdy nemohol stráviť noc mimo Košíc.
The difference between archive footage of the past and a report about a speculative future is exactly zero. Kutlu Ataman sends a Turkish minaret to the moon. Nikola Ivanov launches a solar reflector into space. It sounds faintly unhinged, but the cinematic grammar of both filmmakers is documentary enough to make you believe it.
Všetkým skeptikom projektu Druhé slnko by som povedal: príďte navštíviť Košice. Presvedčte sa sami a užite si slnečné svetlo po celú noc.
映画を通してでもそういうものが背景が見えてくるっていうか、その辺もなんか絶対残るねと。
Shingo Yamano's film is a work by artist Ho-bin Kim, Korean artist, born in 1996. He did not study art. He majored in global China studies and minored in computer science and finance, then became a novelist, before sliding sideways into visual art and refusing to pick a lane between the two. One of his works, S. Silent Korea, is about the Seawall ferry disaster, the misinformation and official failure around it. Another, the Reality Sandwich series, borrows its title from Allen Ginsberg. Ho-bin Kim spends a whole day with an artist and asks them to show what reality is. The work is called PADO. It is an introduction to a film which don't exist. A man has been presenting a film that was never going to start. 3 times in the last 12 minutes, you saw him. You didn't question it once. Why did you believe him? His age? His tone? The fact that he appeared at the start and you decided he must belong here? Or simply, he looked exactly like someone you are supposed to trust. Dow Chemical still hasn't apologized for Bhopal. Instagram is still full of staged real lives. And someone, somewhere, is already building the next system of trust you haven't learned to question yet. Seifra takes no responsibility for your newfound trust issues. Your art addiction, however, is entirely our fault.